After 20 years of building together through dust, deadlines, and damn good ideas, Pace and Adam invite you to join them for honest conversations about the home building world. Welcome to Build Connected, where experience meets insight, powered by Diamond Home Restoration.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to week 7. Glad to have you with us. Had a great week last week. And here, we're doing it again. Hello, Adam.
Hello, Pace.
Yeah. Let's jump right in. Today, you got something on your mind. Let's go.
Yeah, well, you're not going to ask me about my weekend. We're just going to get right into it. You don't care.
How was your weekend?
It was a great weekend. Went to the Fairfax. Well, let's see. Last week they had a little farmer's market. Strawberries are in season, and I got some strawberries.
This is riveting.
It was great.
Tell me more.
Daughter had a lacrosse tournament. Won the tournament.
See, that's exciting. That's exciting. Who cares about the strawberries, though?
Okay. Well, what can I say? I like strawberries.
If you led with strawberry shortcake, then maybe.
Yeah, I'm more like a cheesecake, apple pie kind of guy. I don't know about strawberry shortcake, but okay, you do you.
Yep.
All right. How about you? Any fun things you did over the weekend? See, I've
already forgotten the weekend. I had a big Saturday, but that's my adventure on Saturday is for my ears only.
Let me guess. Antique shopping, playing with your cats. I don't know. Am I getting close?
Ballpark.
Okay.
Let's just say ballpark.
Okay. All right. That's enough of that. We can jump into things. You want to jump into it?
Please.
Okay. I'm going to talk about a product that we have come to love and utilize on most of our projects now, and that's zip sheathing. Huber makes this product called zip sheathing, and you may have seen it on projects when you drive by them. Maybe you see a house with green panels or brown panels. That's the zip sheathing product that they make. And once we discovered this and started using it, it was a no-brainer. The cost comparison was pretty similar to that of plywood. That's what we use in our area for sheathing, was generally plywood. In some areas I know OSB is used. But the beauty of this zip sheathing is we can apply it to the exterior of a house. And once we apply that in conjunction with their proprietary tape on the seams, we have a watertight house. And that's really fantastic for us. It speeds things along. So the other thing about zip, you get that fast install because you're installing not only your plywood but your weather barrier at the same time. You can also get these sheets that have insulated panels that are already come attached to them. So Zip offers, I think it's maybe 4 different kinds of panels. They call it Zip R, and each panel is a different thickness of insulation. And there's a real advantage to being able to insulate your house on the exterior because you eliminate thermal bridging, which is the transfer of heat through wood. And that's a big plus for that product. So yeah, I think that's it's something we're going to continue to use on most of our projects. There are some projects where maybe we're not using the zip sheathing because of the way that the build is happening, and maybe we're using a different peel and stick kind of product on the exterior. But we love this product. We're going to continue to use it, and I think that about sums it up for Zip.
Yeah, one thing I'd add, you mentioned the water tightness, but the other part of the WRB aspect of it is creating a air barrier, right? So we're creating that air control layer.
Yeah,
I feel like, being a boy from Maine, I started seeing it, I don't know, a decade ago or something, and it was super common on the East Coast. It took a while to get out west. And, the first couple of times we tried to use it, we had some resistance from our engineers. I just don't think that they were ready to use it in our seismic zone. We do a lot of shear walls. And so it took us a few tries to be able to use it on a project.
Yeah, if you're a homeowner and you hire a contractor to do a project for you where you're doing work on the exterior of your house, maybe you're re-siding and that sort of thing, you should definitely ask them about zip sheathing because it really enhances the performance of your home. Like Pace said, you do get that that air sealing with that product too. And again, I mentioned the tape. If it's got to be installed correctly, that tape. If it's not, then you've kind of blown it. But a good contractor will know how to handle that. But bring it up. You know, it's worth taking a minute to discuss it with them.
Yeah, one last thing for me on this is, if you're remodeling your home, you're not building a new home or, doing the entirety of the siding, any place, whether it's an addition or just you're updating one side of your house, do it there. This might be the last chance you have access to that portion of the house. So do it right the first time, just in case in the future you touch the other walls. So I think anytime you've got an opportunity to update something, you should do it that first time, even though the rest of the house might not be up to that standard. All right, last week you and I were talking about how we're learning every day, trying to get a little bit better every day. And it got me thinking really all weekend about what I want. I was originally going to talk about the start of our pre-construction process, but I wanted to take a break and do just a little shout out. And what I mean by that is if you're a young builder and listening, you're listening and you're like, well, how do I do that? Where do I go for information? I want to shout out a few things that have inspired me over the years. And it's come from different places. And I want to be careful not to use mentorship. Inspiration and learning comes from many sources. Sometimes it's from a screen. Sometimes it's from something in print, a column, or sometimes it's from TV. The earliest thing when I think back for me is This Old House. It was on TV as a teenager. I've been tuning in since a very young age, and there's so much you learn from that show. Obviously it starts with craftsmanship, but just the way they clearly and calmly interact with homeowners to inform them. You learn all of these lessons about that communication and the process. And it's, it was on my TV back then. It's on my TV now. It's something that I draw on all the time. The next TV show that appeared maybe, 10 years ago was Mike Holmes. He had a program, Homes on Homes, that was a straight up slap in the face. He was going into remodels and houses and just picking apart all the mistakes that were made and showing how to build, demanding, I think, how to build a better home. And that approach, I think that bluntness was something that I really needed at the time. Just that confidence to say, hey, come on, guys, we can all do better. It was a turning point, I think, for me and for us as a company. So that was interesting. And like I said, he was just a straight up box of TNT. Great stuff. More on the print side, I wanted to call out a woman by the name of Linda Case. She had a column in Remodeling Magazine. She's retired now, but she would do a monthly feature on the business behind being a contractor. And man, so many builders need it. There's an interesting thing that happens in the industry where, you start off as a laborer and you work your way up, you develop skills and you develop as a carpenter, as a tradesperson. And then the natural sort of extension is that one day you say something like, I'm going to go out on my own, right? I'm going to do this my way. And it's not long before you realize, yeah, you might have the skills to build, but you have no training running a business. And so Linda had these articles. I mean, they might be as simple as how to do a change order, right? And it's something that I desperately needed. And it was such a learning experience. How do you job cost, right? How do you look at your estimate and compare it to the actual dollars, right? How do you make decisions moving forward? Man, I got so much from reading her column. I still use it today. Moving ahead a little bit more to just really the time the pandemic hit, when we were all shut down, we discovered Matt Reisinger and what became the Build Show. And listen, Matt he is changing the industry. I don't know when he started filming YouTube videos, maybe 15 years ago or something. He had very few followers back in the day, but he just kept at it. He just kept uploading content. And eventually, he developed a giant community. Today, he has what I would consider a builder's library. He has a number of content creators that are posting every single week. He's got courses for young builders. It's just a wealth of knowledge. Uh, Quite frankly, it's been such an inspiration in the last 5 years for us. Adam mentioned, some of this building science stuff, and Matt's been at the heart of that for us. I wish the Build Show would focus a little bit more on some of the intangibles that we've been talking about, that team building, relationship stuff. I wish they'd point a finger sometimes at the broken things in the industry, but I think that's what you and I are doing, Adam. We're adding our 2 cents to the conversation, and I think that's just fine.
Yeah, I think we gained some of that want and know-how from our experience of watching these people too. That was the thing about Holmes on Holmes, right? Michael Holmes was a no BS kind of guy. I liked how he would kind of poo-poo the thought of, oh, you see all these shows on TV, and you can build this kitchen in 2 weeks or 1 month, and this is what it costs. Like, that's not reality. And I think he did some justice to shed some light on that. I'd kind of like us to talk about that down the road too, about putting a pin in some of that stuff that people think they can do because they're watching this stuff on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the year that Extreme Makeover Home Edition came out, and we had endless clients saying, "Oh, we should be able to do this bathroom in a week." And I was like, "Stop." Right? Yeah, the reality check of the time it takes to build a proper home. We'll definitely come back to that one.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Let me talk about a project that we just recently completed. The goal of the project was not only to provide a beautiful home for our clients, but to provide them a home that was an airtight house so that we could control the air that moved through this structure. And this is where we're going to dive a bit into building science. You're going to hear us discuss a lot more about this in future episodes, and you're going to hear some terms that we'll unpack later. But the house that we completed was really something great that we really enjoyed building. We learned a lot because we were using techniques that we had read about, studied, and it was a lot of fun to be able to utilize some of these and provide something to our client that in the end was just a tremendous energy efficient home. So, let me just back up a little bit and just give you a quick summation of building science. It's really the ability to ventilate properly, control moisture, insulate properly. It's really just about creating a comfortable, more livable home. When we do a house like this where energy efficiency is top of mind and we're trying to instill techniques and products, we have to have a way to test this. And the way that we do that is by hiring a professional HERS rating individual that will actually perform a blower door test. And what they do is they'll set up a blower door on an exterior door of the home, and we'll make sure that all the other windows and doors are tight. And they'll either pressurize the home or depressurize the home. And we can calculate how many air exchanges happen in 1 hour. So typically we talk about ACHs, ACH 50. That's air exchanges per hour using 50 pascals. And that's basically simulating a 20-mile-an-hour wind pressure. Builders in general, at a minimum, are trying to meet code. And when we performed our blower door test on this project, we ended up blowing a 0.7. I mean, that is incredibly tight. That's getting close to a passive house number. So that was a big achievement for us. And there was a lot of attention to detail that went into the things that we did to make that happen. But, we really were able to achieve that through the things that we studied and learned. Pace mentioned Matt Reisinger. We got a lot of information, even just seeing how he does things. So it felt really good to achieve that number. And we're going to do it again. But look, again, that doesn't happen by accident. It's careful planning and execution, and we were able to make that all work. So, stay tuned if you're into remodeling and building or just making your home perform better. Building science, it's going to become one of your favorite topics.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a couple of words you're going to hear over and over again are layers and control. Those are going to be at the heart of most of the things we talk about in this area.
Continuity.
Continuity, another great word. Yeah. Like to me, this is the intention behind this for a homeowner is you want to reduce your energy bills in the future. You want to be more comfortable and you want your house to be more durable. I think that is the entirety of it right there. And this is how we achieve it. All right. I want to just not address the other baseball hat on this podcast. There is another one.
There
It's
you go.
disturbing. I mean, I've had a very difficult time focusing for the entirety of this, but it's here. So you should tune into YouTube and check it out if you dare. But otherwise, great visiting with you again, and we'll see you next week on Build Connected. I'm Pace.
I'm Adam.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Build Connected. For more stories, insights, and ideas, visit diamondhomerestoration.com or find us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We'll be back next week. We hope you will too.